Hello and welcome to the Philippines. This is a walking tour. I'm walking from Mabolo to Cebu City. If you don't know where Mabolo is, it's kind of between Ayala Mall and SM Mall. And taking a long walk today and starting over here at Persimmon Condominiums, actually. I lived there for, I think, 4 months. I'm also going to touch on the rental market a little bit. I've had some experience myself and with other expats here in the city. Going to talk a little bit about the rental market here, which some of you will find interesting. Here in the near future, I'll do another video just about the rental and real estate market. For those of you who are new to the channel or who have not subscribed, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. I usually put 2 and even 3 videos out every week on various subjects. Condos, cost of living, travel, latest news, visa and immigration type issues, and just a load of other subjects as well. I have been taking videos in the Philippines since about 2015. Started my YouTube channel 2016, and always carried a camera with me. Have all the time since my early years, in fact. And one of the things that I've done here, I guess a bit of a niche market, is I'd be in these malls and the real estate people would grab me and say, "Come and look at my condominium." And so I'd go along and I was kind of interested, and at the same time wanted to see what some of these newer condos look like, because when I first came here in 2015, I searched and searched and searched. I emailed people, messaged people, and did not get responses back. I finally called somebody, lots of roosters in the background. They said they'd get back to me. They never did. I finally actually found a real estate broker on Craigslist, and he said, "Yeah, things have been slow." So I checked my Craigslist account, and there you were. So anyway, he took me around to, I think, about 11 different places in 2 or 3 different buildings, and I finally, because I was getting tired after 2 weeks in hotels, I was getting tired of looking and not being able to contact real estate people. So I took the best one out of the bunch. Not a great place. I've done a video there and many other places that I've lived, but it worked for 6 months. And then I moved down the street a few blocks and near IT Park. Anyway, I was a bit shocked by the small size of the units, and about 10 years ago, many of the developers started downsizing their units, trying to fit with the boom, the big economic boom and demand, trying to fit more people into the same amount of space, is what I was told. Now, you can find older condos that are larger sized, and I've done videos at some of those. In fact, I've got over 1,000 videos, many of those condominium videos. I am not a real estate broker. I do not make any money by doing these videos about real estate. Somebody said, "I hope you're getting a good commission." Well, no, I don't get any commission. I'm not set up with any, and I'm not in that business. And anyway, leave it there. But I am interested in the real estate market. Will I buy someday? I don't know. The more I look, the more I know about the various developers and understand about the various issues and pros and cons of various areas, locations, developers, the construction companies. Now, to give you a little bit of an update, if any of you have been living in a cave for the last over 3 years, just fill you in. There's been a government mandated worldwide travel lockdown for over 2 years, and millions and millions and millions of people have migrated. They have tourists in the Philippines and Thailand. They've gone back to their home countries. The Koreans, the people from Western countries, the Chinese, millions and millions of them have gone back. Well, that left tens of thousands, if not millions, of vacancies across the Philippines in apartments, in house rentals, in condo rentals, resort rentals, and literally destroyed the economy, uh, as well as the livelihoods of millions of people who are involved in the tourist industry and the hospitality industry and so many other industries. So we are now in what is categorized as a recovery mode, economic recovery. And places like the Philippines, Thailand have high seasons and low seasons. We are basically, that is over the Christmas holidays, give or take a couple months either side. People from the northern cold climates want to come to a warm place, and the cost of living in the Philippines and or Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia offers those types of things, except for the big lockdowns, the inability to travel. Anyway, this high season, we're just getting back out of the high season. Now I see a lot more foreigners here than I used to, 6 months ago, a year ago, but a lot less than I used to see. And I stop in various hotels and condos, and I ask them about their vacancy rate, and 9.5 out of 10 tell me we have very few guests staying here. Now there are a few exceptions. I helped a guy get moved into the Quest Hotel, and they were saying they seem to be pretty busy here in Cebu City. But most of them have very few guests. When I check rental rates on many of the sites online, and there are dozens of real estate companies that list rentals and sales of properties, and I see some people asking for more rental rate than what they would have got pre-pandemic, and I see some that are lower than pre-pandemic. Their units have been sitting empty for 2+ years, and they're trying to make up that lack of income by raising the rate. Now the place I'm staying in, I just negotiated I've been here 2 years, and I'm paying $25,000, about 450 US dollars a month. Negotiated that 2 years ago, and they agreed to continue that for another year. And pre-pandemic, pre-government lockdowns, it was 35,000. So saving 10,000 pesos a month, about 200 US dollars. And my landlady has a number of units and is aware of rentals around the city, and I had thought about moving, just number one, to get I can find bigger places for less money, and I even discussed that with the landlady. And she made the statement, you guys always pay your rent on time, you're taking care of the place, you're doing some of the minor repairs yourself and or paying for the minor repairs. I fixed a leak in my bathroom the other day. Went and got some pieces and parts, and maybe it cost me 500 peso. It would have cost me a little more than that to pay a plumber to come up, maintenance guy to come up and fix it. So I've got a good landlady, and she understands she has a good tenant, and therefore she agreed to continue on with the same rental rate. Also, another item, the owner, who lives in the U.S., her auntie, I think, bought this pre-selling back in 2016, 2017. So her cost going in is less, so she can afford to rent it for less and still make a fair profit. Now, if you're going to rent from somebody who bought in at the top of the market, as prices were increasing rapidly, and they bought property, let's say 2020 or late 2019, before all the lockdowns, well, then their cost basis is higher. They need to get a higher rent than somebody who bought in pre-selling. The point I'm making is there are lots of options. If there are 3 or more groups of people, there are those with a lot of money, and location and amenities are the most important to them. They've got the money to pay the price, so that's not number one priority. There are the vast majority of us who live in the average pension income group type people who have to be a little careful. You know, we could overspend our budget if we weren't careful. You know, if she was going to raise the rent very much at all, I was definitely going to move. Because there are thousands of options. And, you know, if I was an owner, sure, I would want to get a fair price. But there are those owners, these here, these plaques on the wall here along the side of this cemetery, they all engrave the grave markers, whatever you call them. And there's even one, somebody did one for Michael Jackson and a couple famous basketball players. Forget what it costs to get one of those carved. They start around 3,000 pesos, something like that, I think. Don't quote me on that. Maybe it's a lot. Maybe it's a lot more. Maybe it's 15,000. Not sure. But anyway, there are options, and you know, I've thought about moving to other areas, and yet I want to stay in my general area because all of my friends, when they come here, they stay in this basic area. I've thought about going outside the city, get a townhouse outside the city or even in the city. A friend of mine has a good-sized townhouse, I think 3-bedroom townhouse over in Mandawi, 15,000 a month, and electric would be a little bit higher. And I talked to his girlfriend helper, and she said, yeah, she pays 7,000, 8,000, even 10,000 some months for electric. And they don't use the aircon that often. They've got fans running, televisions running. If I lived outside the city, north just a little ways or south just a little ways, I might be able to get a nice sized house for 10,000 or maybe even a little less than that. But I would have costs traveling into town because eventually I would get a little bored, and I would be paying for transportation and or riding a bike into town. And I'll briefly mention the third group of expats. They are on a very tight budget, and they have to be very careful how much they spend. Now, I have seen, a couple of years ago, I saw a vlogger, apparently on a low budget. He found a place for 5,000 pesos, basically one room, virtually no, you know, maybe a mattress on the floor, a very small table, and basically unfurnished. But that was his budget. That's what he lived. I think he bought an air conditioner unit, and not sure how long they stayed there. But my big suggestion, I have met a number of expats, foreigners who retire early. They've sold their house, they've sold their boat, their car. They think they've got a lot of money in the bank. They come here. They build their girlfriend and her family houses, take care of their dental and medical bills, and before it's time for them to start getting their pension, they're running out of money. So my advice to everybody is stay in control of your money. Spend less than you think is your guaranteed income. There are so many needs here, and the inclination of many of us is to try to help people out financially, giving money, handing out money, buying them food, paying for medical issues, that type of thing. But understand what your budget is before you come here or anywhere. Generally, most landlords, you know, you can do short-term. You can do booking.com, expedia.com, airbnb.com, number of different sites that are more the 30-day or less type stay, and you might want to do that. And you generally get a discount. I think Airbnb, if you rent for over 28 days or something, there's certain breaks, certain time periods. If you rent for 2 weeks, you get a discount. 28 days, you get another discount type thing. Might not be a bad way to go initially, because usually the electric utilities are included. You don't have to worry about that. Most landlords want a 6-month and or 12-month lease. Now, I did have a friend talk somebody into going with no lease at all. I said their unit had sat empty over 2 years, and they were desperate to rent it out. So instead of paying $15,000 a month, with a 6-month lease. He paid $17,000 a month, and I think he ended up only staying here 3 months. Then he went back to the U.S. So some landlords are willing to negotiate, others are not, whether they're Filipino or foreigners. I've rented from two different Australians here, and three Filipinos. I haven't had any issues. I've always gotten my deposit back, but I have heard those stories. I've had people comment, say don't expect to get your deposit back, and that's sad that would happen, but it could happen. Generally, not everybody. Some people will ask for the first month's rent plus 1 month deposit. Much more common to get for them to ask for 2 months security deposit and 1 month. So you're paying 3 months up front. So if it's 20,000, you got to come up with 60,000 to move in pesos. Now, if you don't have those pesos in your pocket, because this is still pretty much a cash society, a lot of these bank machines, some banks will only give you 10,000 pesos per withdrawal. I think BPI, Bank of the Philippines, I think it's called, BPI Bank will give you 20,000 still. There's one branch of HSBC here across from Ayala Mall in Cebu City, and they're still allowing 40,000. I go there about once a month. And this is Mango Avenue. This is kind of the start of the bar area up here around the corner. You've got that big church, and to the left you've got a bar called Howling Dog that used to be down closer to the Mango Square area. And I'm walking down towards Fuente Osmeña Circle, big traffic circle in uptown Cebu City. And I'm just going to walk down, and there's a few bars down that way. 3 of them have closed just in the last, didn't even stay open 6 months, I think. This is a new area. It's not opened up yet. They actually do. They've got a couple of pool tables in here, and that big church across kitty corner, and Jollibee's across the street. Anyway, that's it. That is it for now. Thanks for coming along. Take care, and I'll see you next time.